What happened? Did the stream just die? I have no idea what could happen here. Like, I have perfect internet. I'm even using cable internet. I don't know what that was. I don't know. Your move was so bad, stream crashed. I don't know what caused that. I have not the slightest idea. Sorry, apologies. Apologies. So knight g4. It's okay, I have to get developed, I guess. Bishop d2. And now, of course, this is a very different game because he doesn't have this two-pawn weakness that I was hoping to play against in the game. Fiona, e takes d6, queen takes d6. So this is just, I think, an equal position. There's literally nothing going on here at all. I would even prefer to play black here. I always prefer playing with the knight. Amadad is saying after queen takes d6. Oh, if he could. Yeah, unfortunately, he's not covering g1 with the knight. If the knight was here, I see what you mean. Wishful, smothered mate thinking. But yeah, that was a strong move. But this was also not as good, but it's also, I don't think there's anything. That's what I was expecting. That's the move he had written down. I think I'm a tad better, but nothing dramatic. But yeah. So that was today's game. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Is it too late now to say sorry? 'Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Ooh, ooh. Sorry. Okay, that's enough for that. Uptime. 52 minutes already. What did I say? I said I swear to God not more than 1 hour, but I swear to God not more than 1.5. Okay, let's have a quick look at my game from the Bristol League. The game from the Bristol League, I think there's only one interesting moment that comes very early in the game, because once I went wrong, the game went on for a bit longer, but wasn't very interesting. Okay, so in the Bristol League, one of the problems was I had absolutely no idea how good my opponent is, and I know in theory it shouldn't matter how good they are. 1 hour on Rook A5. I mean 1 hour on a 13 move game. Fiona's Robert Plant impression is the stuff of legend. Ah! Come to the land of the ice and snow. Where the... And then I did the headbanging as well, yeah, but today I'm too tired for that. Good afternoon, Nick and Mac. Yeah, you're quite late. Today will not go on for much longer. So the problem was, I had absolutely no idea how good my opponent was. And what I was just saying, it shouldn't matter, but it does matter. I really need to know how good my opponents are. And the guys had warned me that he was good. But I thought... 100 for Immigrant Song, thank you. You're welcome. Robert Plant lives near Bristol, is that true? I had no idea. No idea. Funnily enough, I knew. So the guys told me your opponent is good, but I assumed that would mean like 2,000 at most. I mean, bear in mind, this is Division 2 of the Bristol League. I mean, no offense to the Bristol League, but I did not expect to play anyone. I mean, okay, let's make a long story short. My opponent was an FM. An FM who hasn't played in a while and who doesn't play much, but still, an FM remains an FM. And it's not someone I was expecting to face in Division 2 of the Bristol League. Funnily enough, what I was saying is I knew I was going to be black. I knew I was going to be black for this game. So I had a few flights that were delayed that day. Oh, I had a few flights that were delayed that day. So I thought, okay, I should do some prep. My first problem is I don't know what to do against d4. So I had a quick look at everything against. I was going to play d6, so I looked at all the replies to d4, d6. And the second question was, I thought I should have a game plan for what to do against the Ruy Lopez. Good afternoon, Chris. How are you? A big shout out to Chris. I think Chris was there for pretty much all of last night's 10-hour stream. So I imagine Chris is probably in a similar state to me. Like, can you tell from my face? You can probably tell. Like, my eyes are only halfway open. How's it going? I just showed, you just missed the beautiful game, but then I already sent you the notation anyway. Didn't go. I mean, I was so happy because after the 10-hour stream, I did not want to play a long game of chess. And I was even more happy when he resigned immediately. So you didn't prepare for d4, d6, e4. And no, actually the Philidor I've played, I know the Philidor reasonably well, I think. Fiona, knight f6 is much better to play. You mean against d4? I would beg to disagree, because the problem with knight f6 is you might be hit with the Kilkenny gambit and get absolutely crushed. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I mean, what I wanted to say about that previous game, I asked him in the end, I asked him, was rook a5 the move you were planning on the next move? And he was like, oh, yeah. But then I thought even that doesn't make sense, because let's say this was your intended move. How can, like, rook a5 doesn't make sense? So I genuinely don't know what went through his mind, especially after writing down d takes e5, thinking for 2 minutes, crossing it out, thinking for another 2-3 minutes. Like, Chris, you missed it, but we just saw that knight g4 was extremely strong. If I'm taking here, if I take here, it's just, I'm very close to lost already. Gotta go. See you in Batumi, Thane, and thanks again for the other night. So yeah, knight g4 I hadn't seen at all. I have to be careful to even equalize here. But I thought there was just an option. It was just a choice between whether you're gonna take with the pawn or with the knight, and I just thought I'm gonna play against the double isolated pawns. But yeah, rook a5. I don't think I've ever been so surprised by a move in my life. And again, he was 1950. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's like some of my teammates, like the two guys who were next to me, they looked at me and they were like, what? And then everyone was wondering what I'd done, because I think they struggled to believe that I could have won within half an hour against a decent opponent. But they, I think, were also, they didn't think I would offer a draw as white against an opponent 200 points below. So it's just, they were like, what? You won? How? Anyway, back to the Bristol League game. So what I was saying So I, at the airport, had looked at d4, d6. And then the other question is, it's the f pawn. If you take a nail and hammer it into the pawn and board on f2, I do have a, a compulsive need to push the f pawn. That is true. Maybe he was dying for a pint of beer. I don't think he drinks, actually. I don't know him that well, but actually, after the game, so he told me after the game that he thought that I had a child and a family, and I was like, nope. And the only other thing, so he asked, so what do you do? Do you still travel with chess? He's of Iranian descent. And I said, yes, like I travel a lot. And then he said, I can't travel because I look like a terrorist and I always just get arrested. I was like, okay, bad luck. What can I say to that? In Bristol, the cider gets them all eventually. Nick, wait. Did we meet in Bristol? Who is Nick? Do I know Nick? Does Chris know Nick? Does anyone know Nick? Oh, your rating have been going up a lot. You mean my online rating? Or what? Anyway, back to my, I mean, it's incredible. I'm Simon's acolyte. Simon who? Ah, you're a friend of Simon. But have we met? I don't know. Let me finish. Yeah, I understood Simon Williams. No, we haven't met. Are you a school friend of Simon? I've probably seen photos of you, maybe. Anyway, so I looked at the airport at d4, d6, and then I thought I need to just make up my mind about what to do if my opponent plays the Ruy Lopez. One of the reasons, sometimes I feel I shouldn't say these things on stream, but hopefully not too many people will hear this or remember this. One of the reasons I played the Schliemann slash Jenisch for so long is that I hate it when they take on c6. Like, I should really look. I have so many different lines against that on my computer, but not one that's really. I don't like the main line with the ending. Thank you, Nick. Cheers. So when I played a6 that day, I was really hoping my opponent would play bishop a4, which he did. And I had played this, decided to play this little line. I've played quite a few times in the past, but once again, when your opponents don't know you're gonna do this, I don't even know what, is it called the Steinitz? I think it's called the Steinitz. Maybe. So yeah, I've played this quite a few times before. The good thing about this opening is you always basically just have the same plan pretty much regardless of what white does. I think the main line goes something like castles, knight g6, knight here, bishop here, rook e1, h6, knight f1, and bishop g5. And then you get to this point where white has a lot of options. I always hope they will take here. Someone at the Olympiad once took here with the bishop. No, I think she took with the bishop, and I just checkmated her. Like, if I could, but most people, of course, will not take. I'm not even sure now what the main move here is. Maybe the book will tell us. But white has many options. You can go knight e3. You can go bishop e3. I think you can take with one of the pieces. Yeah, the main move is knight e3. Knight g3 is also a move. And of course, there's always the option of closing the position, which I also quite like facing as black. So if you go d5, I'm going to go knight b8. and then try and play with f5 at some point. So yeah, this is sort of, and it's always just the same plan. So you'll bring the queen here and then the knight here, hopefully. But in the game, after knight e7, my opponent played d5 immediately. I don't think I faced this before when they closed the position immediately. I thought it might transpose to something I knew, but already after bishop c4, it's absolutely not the same, because in these sort of positions, often white will take on d7. So here, after bishop c2, I was sitting there just wondering what my plan really is. Is there nobody in the chat? Or is everyone just being like, I'm not joining in on this chess chat? I mean, that would probably me. If I was in the chat, I would be like, what should I say to that? Can't you just go back to drinking rum and chatting nonsense? I don't even know why I had another sip of that. Okay, I mean, just letting me know you're still there is good. So yeah, this was the first moment where I thought this is different to the positions I know, because this knight can't come here anymore. So what? But I thought, okay, surely. What does the book say to this, actually? I'm curious. You see, d4 hasn't been played much at all. D5, sorry. My in-depth opening knowledge. So yeah, knight b8. Oh, there's actually still some. You see, there's even some big names. Tiviakov, Malanyuk. Malanyuk is a big name. Is that all? Just 4? No, there's some more games. And then bishop c4, and now at this point, so on move 8, there's only been one game played in this line before. Interestingly enough, this year, Elias Mirin, another big name. But I'm surprised to see this has just been played once before. Fiona's opening prep is 2650. I do this so often. Like, not so often, but when I'm at a serious tournament and I don't know anymore. Like, I think one of the nice things when I used to go to tournaments with Vlad or with someone, even with Tom, my best friend Tom, the problem is I don't have a problem looking up lines and games. Like, I know how to use ChessBase reasonably well. The problem is getting new ideas. And that's why, especially with someone as creative as Vlad, when we were going into tournament together, he wouldn't show everything to me or teach me everything, but he would give me a new idea of something to play, and then I could look it up myself. But I think that's extremely helpful to have someone who can just, I mean, if you have the knowledge yourself. So once they have told me about the opening, then I can look it up myself and familiarize myself with it. But it's just some of the things people will show me, I'll be like, just didn't know that line at all. And of course it's even better if the people, be it Vlad, be it David Howell, be it Niels Grandelius, it doesn't matter so much that they are very strong players, but they know me well, they know my chess style. So they will know what sort of positions I enjoy playing. Actually, this year at the Ferencial, it was so funny. There was one day I messaged David like 45 minutes before the game. And I was like, David, will you judge me if I play the exchange French? And he was like, not at all. I think the exchange French is great. And then he told me to look up 2 games. The one game was Rapport Blühbaum from the Bundesliga. It had just been played like a week prior to this day when we were having this conversation. And the other game he told me to look up was a game by himself. Howl against someone. Maybe it was Howl, Bluebaum, and Rapport, Vitugov. I think those were the 4 people. But the Rapport game was quite famous. And fun. So my whole preparation was mostly just looking at these 2 games. And I got the one game. Not the Howl game, but the other, the Rapport game. I got that. And it was so funny because some GMs were playing there. I think one of them was Fressinet. He came to check out my game in the opening, and then he looked at me because like I was playing like opening theory, which had just been sort of developed a week earlier, and he knows I'm not the most hardworking, especially in openings. And after the game, he was like, "Yep, I knew someone told you." So it helps a lot to have people. You know, it's not like David needed to come to my room and tell me you need to play this, 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 this. Just to have someone to tell you, to point you towards what to look at, or even just games, is extremely helpful. And sometimes when people ask me, how could you even get to 2200? You've never done any work. You've never, I mean, it's true, I haven't done much work, but when I'm at tournaments, I actually find it quite interesting to do this preparation. And yeah, I think, long story short, I think I'm a lot more serious at tournaments and at events than you guys probably. You're probably under the impression that I'm not as serious, but I do some chess work at tournaments most of the time. Okay. I think how will beat a French GM with it in Gib. It shouldn't be so hard to find out, should it? It was definitely in Gibraltar. How will exchange French Gibraltar? Should do the trick, I'm sure. Or maybe not. Against Rasmus Fwan. That's the one. So that game was Howell against Rasmus Swane, and let me just find the one report. The one I followed was either against I think it was against Bluebaum Bundesliga. Yeah. So if anyone in the chat is interested in what I'm talking about, that was the game that I ended up following. And I think basically in that game, what was the new idea there? I think just putting even the knight to f3 is not so common, right? But yeah, something. And my game followed this. Like, I just blitzed out all these moves, and my opponent was also quite surprised. And I got a the game, my opponent was 100 points higher rated, and it ended in a draw, but I was pushing for most of the game. Percy. Is there a site which puts up the PGNs of the latest games? I completely missed that earlier. Where would you find out latest theory? I don't know. Like, it's hard to find the latest theory as such. So, of course, the latest games are always up. There's something. Well, nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised, Big Man Stan. You probably don't even have ChessBase, do you? But on ChessBase, I can show you that next time we meet. Basically, if you're online, there's just a thing that's called online. Look up online. And it will have all the games even that have been played yesterday. Like, it's that quick nowadays. So you really have access to all the games, at least from a certain level, that have been played. But I don't think there's any website that will be like, oh, there was this novelty. So that's also the reason why all these super strong grandmasters, and now we're talking really the best players in the world, Magnus, like I think everyone in the top 10 probably, that's why they have a team of seconds. And okay, for some players it's just one main second. Of course, people like Magnus and Fabiano, especially before the match, they have a full-time team of maybe 3-4 grandmasters who will constantly be on the lookout for new ideas, new moves, constantly keep up to date with what has been played, what has been done. And I think on that level, it's not a lot of fun because you literally, I was talking about this with Niels in Copenhagen because Niels was famously on Magnus' team of seconds for the match against Karyakin. And he literally said he'd just spend sometimes 10 hours a day just looking at the same position in the Italian and go to bed having found nothing. So that can be at times tedious, but of course that's on a completely different level. I guess grandmasters, if we go a bit below the level of Magnus and top, they will have maybe 1 second who will do this work for them. Of course, I'm not saying they are, of course, keeping up with it as well. But it is tedious work, and it is why the best in the world have a few, not just one helpers, but a few helpers to do that for them. Okay, back to my game after a little side note. Everyone's below the level of Magnus. That is a good point. Although I do really feel the gap is closing a bit now. I think both Fabiano and Schach have really made a serious jump. Fabiano has won almost every tournament this year that both him and Magnus played in, except for Vaikansee, I think. So I think the gap is closing. When people ask me for predictions about the match between Magnus and Fabiano, I think it's going to be very close. One of the reasons I'm looking forward to it more than the Karyakin match, although Karyakin, to be fair to him, he was the one who opened the score, but I think Fabiano won't be as scared. I'm not saying Karyakin was scared, but I think there was more of a psychological problem there. I think Fabi will not have that. You know, he's beaten Magnus many times before. And yeah, I expect a very interesting match. And I've completely lost the thread of what I was saying. I think what I was saying is I was wondering where to put my pieces. So I thought it should make sense to continue with this same plan at least. And then later eventually figure out what to do with this knight on b8. Knight g6, c4. Okay, and we've now, by transposition, come back to 2 games which have been played. Before. Bishop e7. Do you think we'll see a player rated 3000? Oh, absolutely. I'm sure. I'm not sure how long it will be, but also I haven't done any in-depth research on the topic, but there's been such a rating inflation. I remember when I started out not playing, but when I got more into it and when I understood about chess, so when I started playing, 2700 was like, wow, like you're chess genius, like you're the best of the best. And nowadays 2700 is just like, yeah, okay, you're quite decent at chess, but there's like, how many are there? Maybe 50 players over 2700. Yeah, maybe some of us won't quite make it, unfortunately, but I think someone will. Magnus at some point was already incredibly close to 2900. I would say a random guess would be maybe give it another 10, 20 years at most. What do you guys think? I'm fairly sure we'll see someone hit 3000. Knight c3 makes perfect sense. Developing move. h6 was played by one of these guys. The other castled. That's a good point. Maybe I should have given up on this idea of bishop g5. So what if I just castle, and then maybe just give up this bishop and bring out the knight? Seems to... Queen c8 is also interesting. I mean, look at this line, Queen c8. If my opponent went h3, I would just probably wipe that off the board immediately. Maybe not, but I'll consider it. I like bishop g4. Okay, you give up the bishop pair, but at least you get this knight out. Why can I not play knight d7? Okay, the computer doesn't seem to like this for black at all. But I'm not sure how much... Okay, black is really crammed. And if I never manage to play f5, then maybe it's not so great. Yeah, maybe, I mean, the whole opening, it's not a big surprise that it's not seen so much on the top level. But even here, like computer says +1, I don't think it's quite so bad. But I went h6, bishop e3, and bishop g5. So I continued with my plan, but I shouldn't have, because I took, and he played queen d2, and I was like, yep, this isn't great, is it? This wasn't great at all. I ended up playing knight f4, but after the game, my opponent and I spent a long time looking at knight h4. One of the ideas behind knight g4, I mean, the computer, that's the problem with computers. Like, my opponent and I had so much fun looking at this position, at this move after the game. Like, we looked at some really funky lines. So one of the main idea was to meet rook g1 with bishop h3. But of course you switch on the computer and he's just saying f3 and everything is under control. And everything's fine. But the computer just wants f3. Yeah, what happens if you take... So that's the other move we spent a lot of time, of course, looking at. So bishop takes, knight takes g2. One of the problems is my memory is really not great at all, so I'm probably only remember 5–10% at most of the lines we looked at. But after knight g2, king e2, I think we probably looked at all these moves. So I'm just telling you, computer says this is best, then simply f6. And even here, I think we looked at something like this. Rook g1. I was really happy with these sort of lines we were looking at. Here I thought I should be completely fine, especially considering what happened in the game. King f1 instead of king e2 to attack the knight. But once again, I think there's just bishop h. No, there isn't. Oh, this is another line we looked at, actually. So my queen is hanging, so we can't do that. We looked at this. This is definitely fine for me. Because if you're going to go for this position, the king is just not happy here. at all. I think we even looked at some ridiculous stuff like giving up the queen, but doesn't work at all. But the problem is the computer is a spoil sport, because after knight h4, he just wants f3, and he is just pretty much claiming. Well, he's not just claiming it, he knows. He knows, he's a good computer. Yeah, I don't really have any. I have to play f6 to defend this pawn, but just castles, and all my pieces are stupid. This knight is stupid, this knight is stupid, my king is stupid, my pawns are stupid. Actually, let me make them red to make my point clear. There you go. Even this bishop is stupid too. And the queen. And the rook. Have I made my point clear? This is maybe my only good piece. And, I mean, this is stupid. And then, so if I have to rely on just one rook and 3 pawns to save this position, that's not great, is it? Fifi the artist. How good is my chess explaining? How good am I at drawing red and green colors? Also, where is Dan? Because he was supposed to come and have a look. The church bells are ringing. Okay, I need to get to the end of this game because I'm gonna fall asleep. So yeah, this is not great. I think I've made that abundantly clear now. So instead I played knight f4, but I think I'm just gonna show you the end of the game, because my opponent just beat me like a baby. I mean, this position is basically as disgusting as the one I just showed you here. For the same reasons. I can't get this knight out. This bishop is stupid. All my pieces are stupid. This pawn is super weak. So yeah, it was just a very unpleasant game to play from here on. I mean, basically this game I was really crushed from start to end, which makes it very dubious. I'll be playing this opening again anytime soon, because I'm not even sure where I should have improved on my play. Maybe by playing castling instead of h6, but even this doesn't look super pleasant to play. So let me show you the game. b5, c5, c6 you're suggesting. So I guess here. Yeah, the problem is he's just gonna crush me. The knight is gonna come in. It's just, I mean, the computer's already giving +2, and I haven't even lost any material yet. It's just a disaster. c5, b4. My only hope was to somehow push my queenside pawns, but it wasn't a great hope. Knight a4, a5. Be right back. I might not see you again, Amadat, because I'm going to be ending this stream very shortly. But if I don't see you, thank you for stopping by, for all your comments and questions. Yeah, I'm not even gonna comment on this because I don't think I blundered. It's just, I don't think I blundered anything. Just your position was pretty much just lost out of the opening. I don't think he ever gave me a chance to get back in the game. It was funny when we analyzed, someone stopped by and I think was trying to say something nice to me. Someone said, like, I don't even remember if it was someone from our team or from their team, but he said to me something like, oh, you put up, at least you put up a good fight, or something like this, like just something generic, you would say, or at least it was an interesting game. And my opponent just looked at him, and my opponent just went, did you not see the game? Like, he's like, did you not see the game after move 15? Like, not even move 15, after move 12? He's like, did you not see us just completely winning out of the opening? But he had a point. Harsh, but true. But fair. King b1, bishop b5, c6. Because it's white's move. White played c6. Mac is saying after bishop c2, knight h7. What do you mean? What do you mean, Mac? Okay, while I let you think what you mean, my dad is definitely home. So, let me find out. Papa, wie hast du gespielt? Gewonnen! Das ist gut. Das ist ganz gut. Ich komme noch in 10 Minuten, dann fällt eine Stunde hoch. Okay, it's a good day. 2 out of 2 for the Steil family. Good stuff. Okay, c6. I'm not sure what you meant, so I'm just gonna show the end of this disaster of a game. Also, why does my mouse keep scrolling on its own? Why does it keep doing this? I'm not even pushing anything. I'm not doing anything. c6, queen c8, queen f2, queen a6. It's a sad game to play. Especially it's not a game you want to be playing on your debut for a new team. But I'll be back with a vengeance in the Bristol League someday. Gave a piece now. Even the computer even says it's the best move. Like, there's literally nothing I can do about getting crushed on the h5. I mean, just looking at this game kind of makes me want to cry. Yeah, Danny. I love Danny's writing. Very entertaining. Rook f8. Let's get to the end of this torture. Queen e8. Rook c1. Rook c. No, this is c. This is the c file. Queen takes g6. g4. Knight f4. Rook takes h8. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Queen a7. I like the end of the game. I played rook h2. Boom! Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Fifi. Any chance you're taking challenges? Not tonight, I'm afraid. You know what I'm gonna do actually? I think I'm gonna get my shit together and I'm gonna go on the treadmill here because I haven't done anything since getting home, and I might just fall asleep on the treadmill, but I need to get some exercise. I'll open all the windows and I won't run. I'll just walk for a bit and just drink a lot of water and sweat out all the badness. put some nice and relaxing music on and just walk away. I'm walking away from troubles in my life. I'm walking away. Gonna find a better day. Yeah, Chessable. I don't even know if it's Chessable or Chessable. I've heard a lot about them. Never really used it, but I've heard a lot of good things. From the troubles in my life. Okay. Good quality at last. Well, I'm back home. I could always stream this quality. I resigned, by the way, after knight b6. It's funny that this game that was stuck here, that this knight that was stuck here, make him appear, Anton. Are you guys ready? I at the start of the stream, I told you Anton had done something really cool. So it's now time. So yesterday we had the flaming skull, but today, Mo, oops, I just clicked the wrong button. Who's on fire? Mo Salah's on fire. How cool is that? How amazing is Mo Salah? Big man Mo. Can we show, we just crossed 100 people for today as well. Can we show some love? I'll give you the love. That sounded really creepy, but that's just Outcast song, I think. Something about love. Yeah, so Mo Salah's on fire. And yesterday, the skull, the problem was the background should have been transparent, but it wasn't, but now it is. Also, Anton, did you see I added the new toggle? It's not a toggle. Actually, maybe we should create Will Griggs on fire. I don't even know. I don't know if you showed me a photo of Will Griggs, if I would be like, oh yeah, that's Will Griggs. Actually, coming to think of it, I'm 100% sure I would not know what Will Griggs looks like. Yeah, it's a good day to be a good time to be a Liverpool fan. Fifi, where did you play online chess before Lichess? I didn't really play much online chess in the last few years at all, because when I was younger, I used to rage a lot and tilt a lot. So when I was a lot younger, when we're talking 15, 20 years ago, I played a lot for... I know who Will Griggs is, but I just mean, like, I've sang the song like a million times. But I mean, I don't know what he looks like. I don't think I would know. So I used to play back then, the good old days, on PlayChess. And then I think I gave up playing online for maybe 10 years. Then when I came back, I played on Chess24 since I was working for them. Most of my friends were playing there. But I didn't really play much at all. Still, even now, I don't really play online chess when I'm not streaming, unless I want to adopt someone or something. Okay, are we gonna find out what Will Grigg? Oh, Will Grigg is a handsome man. I didn't realize. He's not bad looking. Look at those green eyes matching his shirt. Well, Greg's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Well, Greg's on fire. Na 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 na. I'm just laughing because this photo of my dad. Whoa, Mo, go away for a second. I I sent this photo of my dad playing chess to Vlad earlier. Vlad, who's very good friends with my dad. And Vlad just responded to me saying, lol, at Raymond's white belt, only pimps and Snoop Dogg wear this kind of belt. That's my dad. And that's my dad as well, looking very focused. And that's my team. That's where I was playing today. But not for very long, because then this happened. Now Mo can come back. Now he's not in the way anymore. Look at this setting. Isn't this a thing of beauty? Thanks, Anton. Yeah. And I think you see a school shooter. Who is that? This guy scares you, probably. Now he's on fire. Now he's on fire. Yeah, he's looking a bit... Oh, you couldn't see him, isn't it? Giving us an intense look. Anyway. That's all for me for today. Fiona, do you currently have an opening repertoire in your chess base? Well, in my chess base, I've had an opening repertoire ever since the year 2000. So ever since I started playing more seriously, I've been adding openings in there. So I have two databases, opening databases in ChessBase. One white repertoire and one black repertoire. They're sort of my babies. So they've been there for 18 years. Sometimes, not so often, I will add a completely new line, but quite regularly I will update them or add stuff in the lines. Most viewers are watching you, Fiona. Why? Well, to start with, that is completely not true, because I see from the corner of my eye that 260 people are currently watching. Anna, I'm actually gonna go there and say hello in a second. If the question is more general though, why do people watch this? Also, I forgot to say earlier, Mr. Toto didn't even say hello. He just said uptime. But good evening, Morris. Funnily enough, forget about it. Vlad just sent me another message saying, and there's a maniac on this photo on the top left corner. So you guys having similar thoughts. In general, why do people watch the stream? I like to think probably because they have fun, I hope. I have a lot of fun doing the streams, at least. And I always have a great time. I mean, yesterday maybe I didn't have to stream for 10 hours, maybe. But even so, although I'm knackered today, I thought I had a really great time, and it's not just me doing the streams. I mean, you guys really make the streams. I wouldn't be streaming if there was nobody in the chat, or if it was just me on my own. Like, I think I'm very, very, very good at talking for a long time, because I'm great at chit chat. Like, I can talk and talk and talk and talk. But it's yeah, that's another good point, Chris. Everyone I meet in real life, I'm like, right, you are watching my stream from now on. And I laugh at crap jokes. I'm a sucker for a crap joke. It's dark. Yeah, it got dark. I was thinking I could have turned on the lights, but because I'm gonna end this stream anyway, I'm not gonna do that because the lights are gonna blind me. You don't want this happening. But no, I'm gonna go now. Where am I from? I'm from Luxembourg. It's now almost 8 o'clock, so just getting dark. Yeah, I think that's one of the main things, what Grika is saying. I really love what I do. I really enjoy streaming. I think it's also one of the reasons why what I do with Simon is quite popular. We don't usually play great chess when we stream, and even when we commentate. I'm not saying our commentary is bad, but I'm saying we're no Peter Swidler and Jan Gustafsson from a chess point of view. But I think we have so much fun doing it, doing what we do. We have so much fun commentating together or streaming together, and I think that comes true. People understand that we have a lot of fun doing this, and I think probably makes it more fun for them. So yeah. I usually watch chess, but not with Fiona. Well, maybe we'll share someday. Maybe not. Probably gifted a sub by a toilet, I guess, last night. Toilet was on a gifting spree. But on that note, it's almost 8 o'clock. I think I told my mom I'll be in bed by 10. So that leaves me 2 hours to get stuff done. Once again, it's been fun. Special shout out for those of you who were there last night, especially until the bitter end. One more reminder, tomorrow I'll be streaming at 9 in the evening. Let me see if I've heard anything from Simon. I don't think I have. I'm really hoping to get Simon on tomorrow. If that doesn't happen, I'll try and replace him with someone. Maybe I'll ask David if he's free. But I would really like to do a joint stream tomorrow. I'll get someone. If it's not, hopefully it will be Simon, of course. But if it's not Simon, I'll get someone else. And then Tuesday, I'll be streaming in the afternoon. Tuesday, I'm waiting to hear back from Niels, actually. And Niels might join me on Tuesday for the variant stream because he's a bug house specialist, so that would be fun. And that is all for me for now because it's really completely dark and I'm knackered. But it's been fun. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow or another time. Vlad, do they have internet in Mold, whatever he's from? Actually, Vlad always said to me, the internet there is so much better than it is here in Central Europe. Already when I met Vlad in 2011, they already had internet. They have internet in parks, and the benches in the park have power plugs. So I think in terms of internet, Moldova is way ahead of us, as incredible as that sounds. But yeah, hopefully I'll get Vlad back on stream someday too. I'm hoping at the Olympiad, I'm hoping to maybe get some people to do a joint stream, but from the same room, as that is usually a lot more fun. Hopefully get David a few times, maybe Niels, but we'll see. Yeah, nice place to be homeless. Good point. Okay, cheers guys. I'll see you very soon, I'm sure. Enjoy your Sunday evenings. Rate Tatev. What's Tatev's channel name? Oh, let's raid Anna. I'll raid Anna if you don't mind, because she is one of my best friends. So let's raid Anna. I'll say hi to Anna as well, and then I'll be off. this channel. Can I not rate Anna? I am rating Anna. Okay, cheers, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you soon. Have a lovely evening. Bye.